Well, we told you that we'll have a conversation with Dr. Srebo Kwako. He's Director of Electoral Services for Ghana's Electoral Commission. And we just want to interrogate the numbers of, so far, the names that have been put on the new voters register and what they mean. Now, we also do know that the Commission has been undertaking registration across schools. And it's been raising a number of concerns, but apart from these, we know that it is doing this within the period of coronavirus, where the students are in school third years, and then also the Go Track students. How are they doing that within social distancing protocols, knowing that all these have been concerns for parents as well as other stakeholders? But now, let's give you some education. The Bank of Ghana has served notice to financial institutions and individuals, including the public, about how fraudsters are now using mobile money and other forms of transaction of a sort to dupe people or to defraud people unsuspectingly. Now, this forms part of the current wave of e-crime that is being undertaken. But we need to put all these related matters into perspective. And how do we do that? We have Mr. Eric Mensah. He is a security intelligence e-crime analyst. And he's joining us. He works with the E-Crime Bureau, has great expertise in this detection, etc. Mr. Mensah, thank you for joining us and good morning.
Thank you very much, Roland. Good morning also to your viewers and listeners.
Now, great. We know that, technology these days has made things easier for us. But for the Bank of Ghana to raise this alert also means that we have to be alert. From what you perused, what the concerns were from the Bank of Ghana, what did they mean? Or how do I understand what they were trying to communicate?
Yeah. In fact, there are a lot of cyber-related attacks coming in now because a lot of people have now subscribed to e-payment portals, and they have actually adapted to e-payment solutions like mobile money, ATM card usage, and the rest. So criminals have also been in their schemes that we have seen. In fact, the letter from Bank of Ghana, the modus operandi that was actually stated in we at E-Crime Bureau, we saw this coming in about 2 years ago. There were some issues in relation to this very modus operandi. But COVID-19 has further aggravated the issue. And in fact, criminals are impersonating telecom organizations and coaxing people or financial institutions as well as individuals to transfer funds fraudulently to them. So that is what Bank of Ghana seeks to communicate to the financial institutions.
But we do know that electronic means of undertaking transactions are important. And that is where the world has moved to. We are now gradually trying to use that as mainstream. At least I know that for the banks, that is the way they want to go. How are these being perpetrated? And practically, if I am an individual, how do they come to me? In what form are they?
Now, there are three different modus operandi we have seen in relation to this Momo fraud alert. The Bank of Ghana mentioned that criminals call the financial institutions. Another scheme that we have seen is the email-related one, where these criminals send emails to financial institutions telling them that they want to actually teach them how to reverse financial transactions on the Momo platforms. Another one that we have also seen is that the criminals themselves go to the financial institutions and then they print tags as if they are coming from these telecommunication organizations and then try to social engineer them to transfer funds to them. So basically these are one or two modus operandi that these guys are using to defraud people, and partly because the awareness is not there. The awareness is not there. So people just take things as it is, and then they, transfer funds to criminals before knowing that it is fraud.
And the Bank of Ghana, going by the alert, is indicating that people are giving certain messages. It's as part of the process, Also, they ask staff to enter certain codes on the mobile platform. The codes entered lead to debiting of the bank's mobile wallet. How does that come about, knowing that you work with the bank, for example, or you're very much not averse to issues of financial institutions, and then you rather end up entering codes for which you should be more alert of?
You know, Roland, the criminals have become very, very sophisticated, I must say. What they do is that they call you, and sometimes they mimic the caller numbers. There are softwares currently in the ecosystem now can even mimic you, Roland, over there. The criminals can mimic your number, and then when I get the call, I will even think that it's coming from you. So these are some of the technologies the criminals are using. And then when it gets to the bank staff in-house, in the branches, they tell them they're coming from the telco. And there was one modus operandi we saw. They will actually play the ringtone and saying, if you want English, press 1. So, Upetria, Mia 2. These are some of the technologies they are using. Okay, so it makes it believable. It makes it believable. And another thing we have seen is that sometimes they will not tell you to input. Let's say they want you to transfer 1,000 Ghana cedis to them. They will not tell you to input 1,000 at the money section. They will tell you to input perhaps 0. So when you input the 0, the information that will come back to you is invalid. Input again. Then there, they will tell you to input 1000. Even instead of saying 1,000, they'll tell you 100. So you would think that they are taking you through some codes and the rest. So after you finish inputting all that, before you realize your money is gone. So the criminals have become very sophisticated. And as financial institutions, the awareness must be created. This is the time that they would have to do trainings for their staff on e-payment related fraud and then mobile money at large. This is not targeting only financial institutions. The mobile money vendors, the subscribers, our grandmothers, our aunties, even in the villages, are facing this kind of modus operandi.
So initially, with mobile money, they started with normal calls. They've graduated to having back-end codes, decoding, and algorithms being used. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. In fact, when you study cyber crime, that is the work we do. There are criminals who are actually writing scripts to even compromise your smartphones. So what we say is that on your smartphone, you have to be very careful. This is where smartphone security comes in here. You have to be very careful. It's not every link you click on, because by the time you click on a malicious link, your phone will get compromised, and they will be able to actually go through your phone, even copy images and anything that is on your phone. So now that everybody is moving on the electronic platform, can't get sick COVID-19, we have to be very careful. Not all links we should click on, and then not everything we see on social media is actually legit.
Which category of people are doing this? Is it those who are the smart IT people, or just that they are novices who are just learning technology and so using it?
It's a blend of the two. I must say some people are hard coders and they are able to, do other stuff. But largely what we have seen, it's just pure social engineering. And what do I mean by social engineering? Social engineering is more of using your human behavior to actually, or your human vulnerability to actually get you to do things that ordinarily you wouldn't do. Okay, so you see things like scam calls. They call you that there's a business somewhere. You see even things like they call you that they are calling from, let's say, fetish place, Tigari or whatever, and somebody has brought your picture in, transfer money. So those are some of the things that come into play in here. So it's more of social engineering from where we sit than hard coding and hardcore cyber criminals.
Okay, so how do we caution the public then? What should be the caution for me, an ordinary Ghanaian, whether I'm living in a village somewhere or in an urban area or peri-urban community?
Okay. So for the ordinary Ghanaian, I'll take it from two perspectives quickly. For the financial institutions, as Bank of Ghana rightly mentioned in the circular, no single person should be allowed to operate, in fact, do these reversals. There should be some dual control, and then there should be training for their.
Eric, you can go on. Go on.
Okay, great. So data protection issues, and then also they should look for insider involvement. Sometimes we see these things happen and you realize after investigations there are insiders involved. So financial institutions should take these things seriously. Now, for the ordinary subscriber on the grounds, please and please, not all that glitters is gold. Let's not follow, how do I call it? GC deals, too good to be true deals. Someone calls you and says, oh, I want to show you how to, make money in some few hours. Then you follow through, especially in relation to this modus operandi that Bank of Ghana has really sent out. Do not follow instructions from anybody telling you that they want to teach you how to reverse funds. No, please. When there's an issue, please call the telco that you are subscribed to, whether it's MTN, Vodafone Cash, or Airtel Tigo. Call them, call their offices. If you are closer to their offices, go to their offices yourself. Don't allow anybody call you to tell you they want to teach you. And one bonus to your listeners and then viewers, please and please, I have mentioned on several platforms that we receive text messages telling us that somebody has transferred money into our account. Please and please, most of these text messages, what we have seen is that it's coming from regular numbers. If you receive such messages, don't transfer money back. Otherwise, you end up being defrauded.
Wow, Eric Kweku Mensah. This is good education. But the last one, I know it's a bit controversial. I don't know whether it's part. These days we're having the registration ongoing. That's another conversation. But this is off it. But we just need advice. We're moving to electronic forms of communication, technology deployment, etc. I'm sure one day we'll have electronic registers, right? Or e-voting. Is that the same way they can use in hacking into the system?
In fact, I don't want to go political, but I'm going to speak as a professional. In fact, we are all moving on to the technology platforms, and nothing is 100% secured. Nothing is 100% secure. So far as technology is involved, some technologies can be hacked, okay? But nonetheless, if institutions put in very secured protocols in place or put in measures in place to safeguard themselves, they can be safeguarded one way or the other. But nothing is 100%, impenetrable. You can't. In fact, what word do I even use? Everything is hackable. Yeah. Let me just use that word.
Yeah. Are you very good at the IT yourself, or you're just good at detecting and learning it?
Roland, let's talk about this back door.
Charlie, I'll come to you for some tips. Eric Kweku Mensah works Roland. With, he's the head of the technical department, right?
Yes.
E-Crime Bureau. And I have to say that Philip helped me get you, and it's been good education. All of us will be on the alert, but I think what we need to do is to intermittently with E-Crime Bureau, make sure that we do the education. At least if we can do that every week and give some tips to our viewers, we'll be very much happy, right? We can do that, can't we?
It is very, very possible. As part of our corporate social responsibility, it is also very important that we, once in a while, media houses, great media houses like Joy News, when you call us, you come on board to share our perspectives so that the citizenry can be safe. But I must say that financial institutions, as I did mention, should, this is a wake-up call for them to train their people. They should training. Otherwise, they will end up getting hit and then they will lose a lot of money.
And that is where they need organizations like yours, eCrime Bureau. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much,
we do.
Eric Kweku-Mensah, the head of technical. We're talking eCrime Bureau, and they have been doing all these consultations, the detections, and doing surveys and reports, and seeing that, look, there's a trend. The Bank of Ghana has noticed that sometimes you get these very phony messages on your phones, on your laptops, and they come and you're so trigger happy, and apparently it becomes a time for you to be defrauded. But talking about all the things that have been happening, we also do know that some people have been arrested because they tried fraudulently getting their names onto the register, onto the country, through the borders, and getting themselves on the register. And that has been just a minute part of the conversation about the voter registration. But the big one is that we have averagely 4.5 million people registered since the first day of the exercise started. We're now in the third phase. We will want to have an interaction on the voter registration exercise. We're going to have the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Srebor Kwaku, on stream joining us live. And we're going to have this interaction. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have that for you.